How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 6. It's been a few days since I last recorded, but therefore I don't really remember what happened in the last episode specifically, but I do know that we have come to the final day, well, at least for Rika. She believes that today is the day that she will die, which is something that has apparently been planned out, and this is also the day of the big fight, whatever that big fight may be, for Rena. Who has lost her mind, by the way. But then again, who hasn't at this point? Are we all truly sane? So yeah, I really don't know what to expect. We're going to school like it's a regular day. Everybody seems to be acting as if it's a regular day, so I really have no idea what to expect here. Rika is still, alive for now. The thing is that I'm pretty sure that we're going to maybe find out a little bit of how she died in Chapter 3, how that all went down, maybe who killed her. Sadako and Rika-chan looked a little sad when they saw only the two of us. If the three of us came to school together like always, they would have been really happy. But our classmates were as noisy as usual. Nobody seemed to make a big deal about Rena's absence. Chie-sensei was going to be here soon, and she'd start morning homeroom. Everyone was fooling around as if they didn't want to miss a second of the time until then. It smelled like gasoline or something, and it really stank. Someone from the forestry service must have been putting gasoline into the construction equipment or something. Some students near the windows were making a fuss because they wanted to close the windows to shut out the smell. Our school wasn't a normal school, compared to others. We were using a part of the forestry service building. Unusual things like this happen sometimes.
いやいや、こんなの大したことないって。いつだったかな。貝塚いぶきを剪定した枝葉をトラック山盛り何杯分か運び込んできたことがあってさ。あれはひどかった。あの独特の刺激臭は頭痛を起こさせるよね。貝塚いぶきって何ですの？
お野菜の名前なのです。たまにカレーに入ってますのですよ。
今度スーパーに行ったら探してみろ。
よくわかんないけど、最初はリカとケイイチさんに毒味をさせた方が良さそうでございますわね。
あれー、俺たちのボールがねー。じゃあお前がまた隠したんだろう。
The boys seemed to be looking for their ball for a while, and they yelled at Sadako.
誰がそんなものを隠しますの？どうせ隠すならもう少し気の利いたものを隠しましたよ。
ほらほら、先生来たよ。みんな席に着きな。はい、皆さん席についてください。
Normal day, just, minus Rena. I kept thinking about Rena the whole time during class. I thought about what she said last night. I wonder what her come from behind victory means. According to Takano-san's delusion, the masterminds behind the bioterrorism were the three families, and a group of fanatical believers that controlled those three. In other words, the Sonozaki family. What could Rena do alone against them? Mion lived with her grandmother, the leader of the Sonozaki family. There were only two of them in the house. It was possible that Rena would try to break into their house with a knife, but I had already come up with that possibility last night. That's why I called Mion and warned her. On the way to school this morning, Mion told me that some bodyguards from the course had been at her house since this morning. She told me that she'd be guarded herself too. There was a black car parked near the school gate, and that must have been the bodyguards. But according to Takano's parasite theory, the battle wouldn't end just by attacking the leader of the Sonozaki family. According to the delusion she believes in, the conditions of her victory were more complicated than that. She needed to expose the group of fanatics who are behind the Sonozaki family, and she needed to destroy their research of the parasite, or on the parasite. Plus, Rena didn't have much time left thanks to that suspicious poison she mentioned. But how exactly could she win a come-from-behind victory under circumstances like that? she might interpret that the town council are the group of fanatics. I mean, they are fanatics, but I think not specifically towards this. If so, she might attack them the next time they have a meeting at the shrine. The town council meets once a month at most. It would be hard to believe that they were holding a meeting today. But it would be coincidental if they were. She probably thought that the place researching the parasite is the EDA clinic. Rena suspected that there was something fishy about the clinic from the beginning, and that suspicion must have changed to certainty in her head by now. Did that mean that she was going to attack the clinic? This wasn't like an action movie. What could she do all by herself? Was she going to start a fire? No, that would be pointless. In order to expose the conspiracy, she'd have to get proof that they were actually studying the parasite. Was she going to break into the clinic and get questionable, weird samples? The last problem of all was how much time she had left. If she believed that she didn't have much time left, especially under desperate, disadvantageous conditions, she might try to stab whoever she thought of as an enemy. But Rena sounded like she really believed that she would regain her happy and peaceful days after everything was over. Rena probably meant that she was going to stay alive and win. Was there something like an antidote? It didn't have to be real. As long as it was an antidote to Rena's delusion, it didn't matter what it was. It could have been the water you washed your vegetables with. But if she thought that she could get the antidote so easily, she wouldn't have been so desperate about the time she had left. The antidote must be difficult for her to get. The easiest place for that in her delusion was that it was hidden somewhere in the clinic. Putting it all together like that, I felt like Irie and his clinic were in danger. Now that I thought about it, the elderly people in the village, including all the members of the town council, hung out in the waiting room of the clinic all the time. If most of the board members happened to gather there for her, it'd be the perfect place to attack. I told Mion about that during lunch break.
普段ならそんなバカなって言いたいところだけど、その可能性を全く否定できなくもないからね。本家に電話してみるよ。診療所にも人を配置するように言っとく。
Mion didn't object to my crazy idea. She put down her chopsticks and went to the teacher's office to make a phone call.
先ほどからなんだか物騒な話でございますけど。
You know, Irie hasn't actually been involved in this story except for like way in the beginning during that cosplay shit that was going on. So I'm starting to really wonder if he does have a role in any of this at all, or maybe he was just placed around to throw us off. Maybe, I don't know.
本当にレナさんがそんな恐ろしいことをなさいますの？診療所を襲うなんて信じられませんわ。
I'm not sure of anything. I don't think Keiichi is either.
するかもしれない。しないかもしれない。でもな、怒っちまったらおしまいなんだよ。惨劇に抗うってことは、起こさないように戦うってことなんだから。
何事もないことを祈りたいのです。
Oh, Jesus. Wait, these are our choices? Really? It'll be alright, yeah, I guess. So it's either having certainty or uncertainty? What? Okay, in all honesty, yeah, I'd choose the certain answer. There's no way. I want to just say, yeah, I guess, and kind of just shrug it off. That's such a weird choice to make. Like, I like the one in Chapter 5, where it led to Keiichi figuring out, like, if you chose the wrong choice, it actually would lead him to figuring out that you were Shion and not Mion. That was kind of cool. It actually was an obvious difference, I think. I don't know, I can't remember. I might be talking out of my ass. This one doesn't, I don't know. Now, if you guys are wondering why I even have the choices here, if I'm just going to display which one is right or wrong, I want to stay on the right path. Because Chapter 5 also proved that the wrong choice really spirals you out into its whole thing, and eventually you get the bad end. But it actually starts to shape up to look like a good ending of some sort, and therefore like a proper one. We know that it isn't, but it begins to kind of look like a good, different ending, its own separate thing. But then something happened, and it raises some questions. That aside, I do like to stay on the right path, but am always down to go back and see what the wrong path is after the game is over. This one's weird, but yeah, we'll say things with certainty, you know? We're a certain boy.
若いのを2人ほど診療所に送ります。
まさかとは思うけどね。何をやらかすか分かったもんじゃない。
I probably should have saved the game there. I'll just save it over another slot and then we can just jump back.
姿を見たら直ちにひっ捕らえてしまって構いませんか？
本当は嫌なんだけどな。どうしようね。
先日の会合で竜宮レナを確保して警察に引き渡すことで決着しています。ですのでひっ捕らえても一応筋は通ります。
うちの対面じゃなくてレナの心情的に気の毒だなってこと。できたら本当に静かに決着したいんだけどね。
Yeah, that would be nice.
ああ、お若いですから。人さえ殺さなければ大抵はごめんなさいで済みますよ。
じゃあアウトかもだ。
いえいえ、見つからなければセーフですから。セーフ。沖宮の界隈ではあの二人の失踪を気にする者はいません。何かのヤバい話を踏んで夜逃げしたんだろうということになっています。
Oh, perfect. That literally works out.
あの程度のゴロつき、次から次へです。ですからセーフ。
アウトだのセーフだの。あたしら野球拳でもやってるわけ？まあいいや。それじゃあくれぐれもよろしくお願いします。
了解しました。ではひっ捕らえてよろしいんですね。
ちゃんとタッチアウトにするんだよ。クロスプレーなんかにしないようによろしく頼みます。
I couldn't help but have a silly chat with Kasai-san. When I put the phone down, I sensed Chie-sensei was looking at me. No wonder. She had been able to hear the conversation clearly in this tiny room. Chie-sensei put her spoon down and with a sad look on her face, she asked the following.
今の電話は竜宮さんをめぐる話ですか？まあ、はい。園崎さん、竜宮さんはどうして家出をしちゃったんでしょう？お友達として何か知ってはいませんか？
It was hard for anyone to understand Rena's situation except for me and Kei-chan. So most of them thought that Rena just ran away from home. But after she did, the cops made too much of a fuss over it. Ushi stupidly believed that the scrapbooks were a big scoop, and he overreacted in trying to find Rena. He had patrol cars running around everywhere in the village. He even used the town council's phone directory to find her. So people in the village thought Rena did something wrong and was trying to run from the cops. What was going to be difficult for me, more than finding her, was to make up a story to retrieve Rena's honor after they detain her. What about this? Rena went for a walk, fell down, hit her head on the edge of some tofu, and lost her memory. No. That's not gonna work. Tofu? Ushi misunderstood something big time, and he thought she was a criminal. It was too easy. Anyway, we did make it clear that Ushi was the one who misunderstood everything at the meeting the other day. I had to make the best use of his name while he was feeling down for once. What I'd have to do was not make a big deal about the situation, and to create an environment that allowed Rena to forget everything that happened in order to get her life back together as soon as possible.
大丈夫ですよ、先生。レナは今ちょっと病気になってるだけです。それを警察の某ベテラン刑事が素敵に勘違いして話をややこしくしただけです。
Well, that's rude.
まさか先生、レナが悪いことをして逃走中なんて信じちゃいないですよね。それはもちろんですけど、でも家出することによってご家族におかけしている迷惑を考えれば悪くないということはありません。
Oh, it isn't. Like, there's a lot of selfishness in her delusion here, which we never really talked about, is the actual selfishness behind it. Because a lot of this story had to do with her father, and making sure that her father was okay. And the actions that she performed were, yes, for her and her happy life, but that involved her father being happy as well. And now look what she's doing to him. She had a fight with her father and she ran away from home for a little while. She acted childish and that's all. Maybe that'd be the best story to go with. It's more believable.
それに気づけなかった私は教師失格ですね。一度竜宮さんとじっくりお話がしたかったです。
Don't talk about what ifs and what you should have done or anything like that.
先生、ちょっとヘビーに考えすぎです。もうちょっとリラックスリラックス。プチ家出なんて今時珍しくないですって。
That's not well, it shouldn't be a good thing that it's normal. It shouldn't be a normal.
竜宮さんがこのまま不良になってしまって悪いことを始めたらどうしましょう。
At least she cares for her. Ryugu's-san becomes a bad kid. She does something bad and gets arrested by the police. It's her teacher's responsibility. It'll be dishonorably, or I'll be dishonorably discharged. Okay, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, never mind. I guess she cares for all the wrong reason. I'm dead. I'm sure they serve curry in prison. Or elsewhere, I don't know. Chie-sensei seemed comically upset by her own imagination. Damn, everybody'd be having delusions here. It looked funny, so I decided to leave her alone. I made to leave the teacher's office to go back to the classroom, but right then the phone rang.
はい、もしもし。Hinamizawa文庫でございます。
Chie-sensei had to answer the phone all day today because the principal was on a business trip. I exited to the hallway. Then I heard the tone of her voice change.
今どこにいるんですか?
What? And I yelled and looked back at her. It was probably Rena. She called the school? I tried to go back inside the teacher's office, but Chie-sensei gestured at me not to come in. Chie-sensei acknowledged what Rena was saying several times, and then she looked up at the clock.
わかりました。今からすぐ行きます。先生との約束ですよ。
I guess it is Rena. She said only that, put the phone down, and got her purse out of her locker.
院長、先生は休養ができました。しばらく表へ出ますので、みんなを自習させてください。
She took her car key out from her purse. It was obvious that she was going to see Rena somewhere.
先生、今の電話はレナ。以上です。よろしく頼みますよ、院長。
I have a bad feeling about this. Rena thinks that you're the enemy. Chie-sensei completely ignored me and she ran out into the hallway. She ran to the schoolyard and got into her car. The moment her car left through the gate, I ran out to the schoolyard myself. I headed for the black car parked near the gate and knocked on the window.
お疲れ様です。今のところ異常ありません。
違う。今出て行った先生の車を追って。多分行く先にレナがいる。
了解っす。
レナは警戒心
Holy
が強
shit,
い
the
から
tone of
注意
his
し
voice
てね。
changed.
捕まえたら有無を言わさずに本家放り込んで葛西の指示に従うこと。私の友人だよ。怪我なんかさせたら許さないからね。
Rena must have told Chie-sensei that she wanted to talk to her alone. I could tell that easily from the way she ignored my question. I did feel a little bad for ruining their promise, but it was very important that we caught her before she did something wrong. We could still make up an excuse that she was just wandering around because she had a fight with her father and ran away from home. But if she set fire to the clinic or something, there would be nothing I could do. The car made a rough U-turn on the gravel road, and it chased after Chie-sensei's car at full speed. I watched the car until it was gone. All I could do now was pray that this would be settled calmly.
みんな、警長！
I am really fucking worried now.
午後の授業は自習になったよ。というわけで、おとなしく席について何かやること。
自習?
Mion ran up to me and spoke quietly.
レナから電話があった。
本当か?
うん。ついさっき職員室に電話が。千恵先生が指定された場所に会いに行ったみたい。
レナのやつ、一体どういうつもりなんだ?
わかんない。とにかくうちの車に先生の後を追わせてる。 レナには悪いけど、そこで踏んづかまえる。
うまくいくといいな。
荒ごとには慣れてる連中だよ。任せとこ
じゃあ捕まえれば一件落着なのか。
う。だね。そしたらとりあえず病院に放り込むよ。きっと専門の医者が見たらなんだってくらいに典型的な何かの病気だよ、きっと。強迫性、心因性、ストレスなんたらとか、多分そんな感じのやつ。
Something, I'm sure. While we were spending our afternoon studying peacefully, the members of the Sonozaki family would capture Rena, who was waiting for Chie-sensei somewhere. The problem would be solved. It wasn't going to be easy after that, but I was sure Mion could take good care of her. And in the end, everybody would understand that Rena just ran away from home because of a silly fight with her father. A happy ending.
一件落着でしょ。
Mion winked at me. She looked like she already thought everything was over. But that just didn't sound right to me. Yeah, according to the comments, we have like 12 hours left. I couldn't see any connection between Rena and Chie-sensei. That's a joke, by the way. It was hard to explain, but there was something wrong. I wasn't saying that they didn't get along. Rena was a good student, so Chie-sensei had a good relationship with her. But I just didn't understand what Rena wanted from Chie-sensei. While I was thinking about it, the door opened and one of our classmates came back from the bathroom. What the fuck?
レナ。
みんな、起立起立。教室の真ん中に集まって。
Everybody gasped in surprise. Even Chie-sensei couldn't make everybody go so quiet all of a sudden. Rena was gripping the shoulder of the student who came back from the bathroom. In her other hand, she had a big, scary-looking hatchet. That's not a hatchet. That's a blade right there. And that's an anime blade. It was the same one she had the other night. Everyone immediately understood that Rena had taken a hostage.
みんな、聞こえてない？教室の真ん中に集まって。机は周りにどけちゃってね。
Nobody grasped at what she was asking us to do. We all froze. Rena was the only one who was smiling. It was terrifying.
兄ちゃん、委員長でしょ？みんなに指示して。
レナ、あんた何をやってんの？
A loud noise washed out Mion's voice. Rena hit the teacher's desk really hard with her hatchet. She pulled out the hatchet, making an ominous ripping noise. There was now a line of violence carved plainly into the desk. Uh-oh. She broke it. Chie-sensei is going to get mad when she comes back. I think that's the least of her problems, Keiichi. Let's be fucking real here. No, that wasn't it. What the hell?
みーちゃんはやっぱりダメだね。じゃあケイイチくんに頼むよ。ケイイチくんだけは最後まで私の仲間なんだよね。
Ah, fuck.
だから信じていいんだよね。
Rena, your eyes, you look so scary. I've never seen eyes like that in my life. Your eyes are full of insanity. Why are people afraid of insanity? Insanity means that a person doesn't share the same values and the same common sense as us. For example, say a thief breaks into your house and he ties you up. You'll get scared and wonder if he's going to stab you before he leaves. But you hope that the thief has feelings too, and that he's not going to kill you for no reason. No matter how bad the person is, we tend to believe in his goodwill as long as we share the same values, the same common sense, and the same morals as him. But we can't expect goodwill from somebody who doesn't have those things. We can't expect goodwill from a person who can't communicate with us. When a burglar has a knife and you beg him not to hurt you, you expect him to listen to you as you show and to show you mercy. In other words, you can still communicate with him. But if he doesn't have the ability to communicate, he's just like a monster that's trying to attack you, or like the blade of a guillotine that's falling down on you. You fear him because you can't communicate with him. That's insanity. It was the same fear we were feeling towards Rena at that very moment. She looked like a human just like us, but there was no room for her to communicate with us like a normal person could do. Everybody understood that fear instinctively.
ケイイチくん、机をどけさせて教室の真ん中に広場を作って。
わかった。みんな、レナが言うのに従おう。
Rena was like a barrel of gunpowder at that moment. She seemed really calm and quiet, but she'd explode at any minute. When she did, I doubt that she'd show us any mercy. She probably wouldn't hesitate to use that hatchet on us. That's right. Just like how I didn't feel guilty or hesitate to kill Rena or Mion. That's probably how Keiichi looked, actually. You know, those eyes and everything that we saw in the characters back in Chapter 1? Probably didn't see those at all. Those were probably all on Keiichi. Everybody went all quiet while pushing the desks against the wall to make a space where Rena wanted it. Rena, saying that we were moving too slow, hit the blackboard with the hatchet, making a horrible noise. Every time she did that, she left an equally horrible scar on the blackboard, the thing that we looked at most in the school.
じゃあケイイチくん、みんなのロッカーから縄跳びを出してもらえるかな。それを使ってみんなを後ろ手で縛ってね。
Oh no, we're becoming an accomplice.
俺、縛るのとか下手くそなんだよ。多分上手に縛れないぞ。
後でちゃんと縛れているか全員のを調べる。ゆるい人はその場で殺しちゃうからしっかり縛ってあげてね。
What the fuck, dude? We were still kids. We saw the word kill all the time. It was used a lot in comic books and cartoons, after all. So normally you'd assume we'd be used to hearing the word kill. But when Rena said that she'd kill us, it sounded so frightening. I'd never heard something like that before in my life. To Rena, our lives were like cards she could use for negotiation. She'd get rid of one card every time somebody refused her request. Get rid of? Damn it. Why did we use such a scary word like get rid of for simple things like playing cards? Anyway, there were about 20 students in the class. That was a little bit too many for Rena to handle. She might get rid of just one or two of us to set an example. I decided to do what Rena said because I didn't want her to lose her temper, or kill anybody. I got out everybody's jump ropes from their lockers.
じゃあみんな床にうつ伏せになってね。ケイイチくんは後ろ手にどんどん縛っていって。きっちり縛るんだよ。ケイイチくんは私の味方だもん。だからわざとゆるくなんか縛ったりしないね。
Mion tried to make eye contact with me. If everybody was tied down, we wouldn't be able to stop her from occupying the school. There were more than 20 students in the class. Half of them were boys, but most of them were smaller than Rena. But there were enough people here to overpower her. But if we did that, Rena would probably hit her hostage with the hatchet, and she'd use the hatchet to attack the rest of us without hesitation. It'd be a bloody battle. I'm sure somebody would get hurt if we tried to overpower her. The hostage would be seriously injured, or maybe even die. If that happened, it was over. No matter how hard we tried to cover up, she'd never be able to live peacefully like that before, or like before. Mion seemed to understand that too. I could tell from Rena's eyes that she wasn't going to go easy on us. If somebody showed defiance, she'd break the hostage's head open immediately. Of course, Rena had done that before. She'd probably do it again with no hesitation. But as long as we did what she said, we could prevent that bloody tragedy. If we could somehow solve the situation without shedding any blood, with Mion's influence, we might still be able to pretend that this never happened. At the least, we could make sure that she didn't kill anyone. Or we had to make sure. Yeah, that's probably the big thing. Like, sure, if it really was just, you know, Reno trying to meet up with Chie-sensei or something like that, or finding her, getting her to the hospital after the police interrogation, whatever. Like, we can set her story straight, and we can try to get things back to normal. It's becoming more and more difficult now.
ケイちゃん。
Mion tried to think of ways to overpower Rena, but she couldn't come up with any good ideas to save the hostage. That's how easy it would be for Rena to kill them. The best thing to do at that time was to wait for a chance without agitating her further. Mion lay down on the floor, and everyone else followed suit, sluggish with terror. And I was left alone, standing rooted to the spot with jump ropes in my hands. All my classmates were lying face down on the floor, while Rena was pointing the hatchet at the hostage, watching her every move from behind the teacher's desk. I just stood frozen in the middle of it all.
ケイイチ君にはまだまだ手伝ってもらうことがたくさんあるの。だから早くして。あんまり時間がかかると何人かが死んでしまうかもしれない。
Some of the little kids started crying when they heard the word die.
大丈夫だよみんな。ケイイチ君がきっと助けてくれるから。だからきっと誰も殺されないよ。
Yeah, if we're gonna save Rena's face here, or really any bit of her dignity, she's probably not gonna be able to live in this village anymore. Like, everybody here is probably gonna grab some trauma. Damn it. What a bold threat. She said I was her friend, but she was just playing with the meaning of the word. I was the last person who could still fight against Rena under these circumstances. But it wasn't going to be easy to overpower her by myself. I wasn't sure if I could do that. Even if I tried to act tough, once Rena pointed the hatchet at somebody's neck, it was over. I shouldn't fight against her for now. I should just wait for a chance. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. As long as Rena was alone, there would be a chance. She made me tie them up because she couldn't do that by herself. There was a limit of what she could do, because she was by herself. If we could cover this up somehow before Chie-sensei came back, we'd still be able to pretend that we were just joking around or kidding around. I finally realized something. I realized why Rena called Chie-sensei to meet with her. In order for Rena to take over the classroom, she needed to get rid of Chie-sensei. Chie-sensei had a very strong sense of justice. Even if Rena had a gun, she wouldn't hesitate to overpower her. She was the kind of teacher who would risk her life for her students. Rena needed to figure out how to get rid of Chie-sensei. That was the key to her plan. Rena probably thought about attacking her from behind at first, but there was a risk there, as Chie-sensei was a grown woman, so she probably thought that attacking her directly wasn't a wise choice. So naturally, the next option was to lure her out somewhere. Rena called Chie-sensei and told her that she wanted to talk to her in private, in order to lure her out to someplace far from here. Most people, including Chie-sensei, thought Rena was just running away from home. So Chie-sensei must have thought Rena had some problems that she wanted to talk to her about. It was too easy to deceive her. Where did she make the phone call from? Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out myself. She probably used the phone in the school. Well, not in the school, to be exact. She probably used the phone on the second floor of the school, the one belonging to the forestry service. Ah, okay. The school was using part of the forestry service building, but this particular location was more of a branch office. So it's not like somebody was here all the time. Rena knew that, and she had probably been hiding there for a while. She called the phone on the first floor from the second floor, and she made Chie-sensei leave the school. I didn't think it was a coincidence that the principal was on a business trip today. She probably snuck into the school yesterday. She saw the principal's schedule, learned how to call the phone on the first floor from the second, and carried out her plan. She planned it perfectly. Yeah, I knew it. Rena was insane, but I knew she was also actually really calm. She was possessed by her delusion. She was also unbelievably calm about it. So, she could still think fast. I knew that very well because I'd been through the same thing before. What was worse is that Mion's bodyguards were gone. Mion told them to follow Chie-sensei because she thought Chie-sensei was going to meet with Rena. Damn it. Everything seemed to be working out in her favor.
しまったぞ。
I tied up the last person and I looked in Rena's direction. If I didn't tie them up really tightly, Rena would kill them. But when I tied them too tightly, they suffered in pain. Their pained cries made me feel useless.
ありがとう 圭一くん。圭一くんを疑りはしないけど、一応全員を調べるね。圭一くんは頭の上で手を組んでうつ伏せに寝ててね。これは全員に言うけど、私の断りなく立ち上がったら殺す。
Alright.
本人も殺すし、見せしめでランダムにもう一人殺す。ランダムじゃよくないね。じゃあこうしよう。言うことを聞かなかった子と出席番号に銃を加えた子を殺すにしようかな。例えば岡村くんが言うことを聞かなかったとする。そうすると出席番号11番渡辺くんが一緒に殺されちゃう。わかる？常に2人死ぬの。歯向かっても自分の命一つじゃ責任が取れないってこと、よーく胸に刻んでおくんだよ。
Oh, real happy that she's getting creative with it. How awful. She totally understood how to threaten people. Normally you stand against an attacker at your own risk. If you fail, you're going to die. But if you were responsible for someone else, then you couldn't try to resist. You can't risk somebody's life with your own decisions.
全員ちゃんと縛れてるね。圭一くん、縛るの下手くそって言ってたけど、結構うまいよ。
Haha, shucks.
自信持っていいよ。じゃあ圭一くんは立って。
It was too late to fight back. I followed her orders. I just had to wait for a chance. We could still turn this into some kind of a bad joke. I had to do something. Anyway, what were you planning to do, Rena? Don't tell me this is the come-from-behind victory you were talking about. Well, what else is it supposed to be? Oh, holy shit. What a turn of events. I don't know, like, how could I have expected this? Like, there's no way I could have expected this shit. Alright. We will end the episode here. I think this is an okay length. So this slot right here, I'll leave alone. We'll just go forward. I've actually been struggling to figure out which slot we're on because we're wrapping back around because I don't like using the following pages. It's just another thing to click. So the Good Morning Keiichi-san is what will lead us to the other choice. Once we get through this, the entire game, the rest of this chapter, we'll get through it. Then we'll go back and we'll see what the other choice led to. Somebody in the comments of the last episode, I think, said that things get really weird or something along those lines. Like, it doesn't go in a direction that helps with understanding what is actually happening, which isn't good because we want to understand what is actually happening. Anyways, thank you all for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.